welcome to Love to Study, the place where we explain study topics in simple, plain English. Now today we've got the law of demand. So we'll be looking first of all at some definitions, we'll be explaining what demand is and then getting to the definition of law of demand at the end. So starting off, definition of a market. Now if you envisage your standard market down in your high street, you've got buyers, the people going to the market to buy things, and then you've got sellers, the people behind the market stalls. So simply, a market is a place where buyers and sellers come together to exchange goods. One of the ways that I write my definitions is just to write the key points, then you can tick them off on your fingers. So buyers and sellers to exchange goods. Now, the difference between just a market and a competitive market is, as you might have guessed, the competitive market is competitive. So it has simply many buyers and many sellers. Okay, market and competitive market done. Now, moving on to demand. Before we get to the definition, we are going to talk about an example of demand in action. So let's think of the market for coffee beans. Again, this would be a competitive market because it's got many buyers and many sellers. A lot of people drink coffee, so we also get a lot of people supplying coffee. Now, if you think of the market for coffee, we've got the sellers coming to you and they say, okay, we've got these bags of coffee beans, we want to sell these and we're going to offer you a certain price. And let's say that price is given. So it's a given price. And then as consumers, we are going to demand the product because we want it. Now, demand, in terms of a definition, is going to explain that simple concept, but in tight, examinable words. So, demand, we're going to define it as the quantity of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to purchase, and we'll get onto that in a second, at a given price. Now let's break this definition down before we move on. So quantity of a good or service, how much of the good or service they're willing to buy. Now for coffee beans, that might be how many kilos or how many bags of coffee they want to buy. For a service, it might be how many days of holiday they want to buy from a travel company. Consumers, the people buying the product. So me, you, the person on the high street. Now willingness and ability. So we say somebody is willing to buy a good if they want to buy it at a given price. For example, if I was to buy a bag of coffee beans, I would perhaps want to buy it at any price below £10 per kilo. But ability as well comes into it because I may not have £10 to spend. I only perhaps have £5 to spend. That means that for any price above £5, I might be willing, but I'm not able. Therefore, I can't demand the product at that price. So we've got this idea of willingness and ability. In this example, any price below £5, I'm both willing and able to pay. So I demand the bag of coffee beans at this price. And then at a given price. So we say whatever price the sellers choose to give us, that's going to be the price that we determine whether we want the good or not. Okay, so 3 definitions out of 4 done. Before we move on to the law of demand, let's put this demand definition onto a diagram. So let's draw a set of axes. What we're going to do is stick with the coffee example, always labelling our axes. We've got price of coffee on the y-axis. Let's put that in bags. Let's put that in pounds. And then we've got quantity of coffee on the x-axis. And let's put that in bags. Okay, so we've got price on the y and quantity on the x. and we're looking at, for a given price, how much are consumers wanting the product? So how many bags of coffee do they want? So let's start off, let's give ourselves a price. Now this might be any monetary value, okay? It might be £5, £10, £100 per bag, but we're going to call it P naught. Okay, so that's the starting price, P naught, any price whatsoever. And let's say, for argument's sake, that we want Q naught, bags of coffee at that price. Okay, that Q naught again might be 10 bags, 100 bags. We don't necessarily know, but we're just going to say that it's Q naught. So we start off with price at P naught and quantity at Q naught. Okay. From there, what we're going to do is lower this given price. So we're going to lower it. Again, this might be from £10 to £9, let's say. Or on our diagram, we're going to say it's from P naught to P1. So we're going to lower the price from P naught to P1. At this lower price, what do we expect to happen to quantity demanded? Well, let's think about our example. We've got, say, £5 to spend. And the price of a bag of coffee is, let's say, £10. Well, if we've got £5 to spend and the price is £10 per bag, then we can only get half a bag. Now, if the price comes down from £10 to £5, with the £5 that we've got, we can afford a whole bag. So, our demand doubles. On the diagram, we're going to show this as when price goes down, we're going to expect quantity to go up. Okay, let's imagine another example. Let's say you want to go to a football match and the ticket price is £100. But then the ticket price is lowered to £10 per ticket. You're going to buy more tickets, okay? You're going to bring your friends and family along. So, when price of good, in this case coffee, goes down, we expect demand to go up. And how do we show this demand going up? Well, we move along the quantity axes. Okay. Let's say to here. And again, we've labelled this price P1, so we're going to label the corresponding quantity Q1. So we've got the original price P0 and the original quantity Q0, the new price P1 and the new quantity Q1. Well, surprise, surprise, we're going to join the points up to give us our demand curve. Simple as that. We're going to label this D for demand. And we can see that the curve has encompassed everything we've got in the definition. Okay, so we've got the quantity of a good or service, in this case coffee, shown here. We've got the fact that it's consumers, that's inherent in the fact that it's demand. We've got willingness and ability, given by the fact that it's at a certain price, and that price also encompasses the fact that we've got given price. Okay, so we've got all of this information on the diagram. Okay, now the law of demand. Well, naturally, when we've been through all of this, we've kind of explained the law of demand. All we've got to do is put it into a definition. So, the law of demand relates back to this fact that when price goes down, quantity goes up. And in essence, that's it. We just add a little bit on the front to formalise it. So we say that there is a negative causal relationship. We'll get onto that in a second. So we say that there's a negative causal relationship between price and quantity. Okay, now this negative causal relationship, well, negative just means as price goes up, quantity goes down, and vice versa. That could also be inverse. Okay, there's an inverse causal relationship. Now this idea of causality, okay, it's not something that we've talked through as of yet, and we'll move on to it in later videos. But briefly, the way that we explain this is to say that price going down means quantity goes up, not the other way around. So in economics, we always see price as influencing demand. Okay, price is causing demand. That's why we've got a negative causal relationship. So we're emphasising the fact that price going down causes demand to go up. And then we've got the relationship between them and price and quantity. So law of demand, something that looks a little bit complicated, is actually fairly simple. All we've got to do is draw a demand curve with the axes and say, Okay, what's going on here? So we've done markets, competitive markets, demand, and law of demand with an example. So I hope you've learned a lot about the law of demand from this video. And we'll wrap that up there for today. And please leave a comment below if you found it helpful, or you'd like to see anything else. And I hope to see you in the next video.